Hello everyone, welcome back to Money Journey with Diego. This week we're going to be talking about the first week of June, my June budget, and how I'm managing my money while I'm in debt. So I'll go ahead and go over my budget spreadsheet here. So we'll go ahead and start with income. So as you see here, these are the dates of when I'll be receiving my paychecks. I haven't received those yet. That will be in a couple days. So far, I did receive $80, and I received that from $50. I received from my mom. She gave it to me as a birthday present, and $30 from my friend. But it's because she had me pay something for her, and then later she transferred it to me. So that's why it's on there. But I also have it written down below in the expenses, which we'll go over shortly. So there's that. And then so far, as for the fixed expenses, I had a payment plan with the Lich Garden, so I got that last year. One of my friends wanted to go to the Liches, and we got the membership. We ended up doing their payment plan, which ended up paying like $100 for me and my friend. And I've got that in payment, so I have a few more payments left to pay that off, but that's only $9.92, and that's the first of every month. And then we have United. So I ended up going to visit my family in Texas in December, and so I ended up paying that with Uplift or FlexPay, I think it's called now. And so I did a payment plan with that for that flight, and the final payment. This is the final payment for that. It was $23.32, and that was on the 2nd. And on the 3rd, which was my birthday, I paid the XL, which is my electricity, ended up coming out to $77.38. And then I ended up paying one of my Affirm loans, which was $62.13. And then on the 6th, I ended up paying $53.02 to Klarna and $23.67 to Affirm. And that Affirm, that's these Affirms, those were the last payments as well for those. So pretty exciting because I'll have extra money next month. And for Fred Loya, that is my car insurance, was $109. I paid that on the 7th. And so that's it for fixed expenses. Well, also I paid $200 towards my rent. I use my credit card, and I'm going to be paying it with a credit card, because I found out that with my credit card I was getting cash back. So I was able to pay with my credit card, and I got cash back. I got $26 cash back for paying my rent, which definitely helped, because my rent was $1,751.33, as you see down here. And with the cash back, there's a $20 fee, so I'm still making like $6, six something with the cash back. So hey, any little counts. So far I paid $200 towards that, and with that, this was my balance from May. The remainder amount of money that I had in May, $1,341.27. So that rolled over to June. That's how I have it set up in this spreadsheet. And now it shows right here that my starting balance, it will show you that starting balance. And then with those payments that I made, my current balance is $862.83. So we'll keep going through the expenses and the payments that I made, so that way we can see where that balance is at today. So we'll go ahead and start here. All right. Oh, well, for extra income, because I don't know if you've seen my last video, the previous video, I was doing Amazon Flex. Well, I'm doing Amazon Flex when I can to help pay off my debt quicker. So for June 1st, I had two routes. The first route was $70.50, and the second route was $88. So for June 1st, I brought extra income of $158.50. And for June 2nd, my income was $70.50. All right, so the June 2nd, I had one route, which was $70.50. And for June 3rd, I did not do Amazon Flex, but I did do DoorDash. So that was $6.05 that I made on DoorDash. I only did one DoorDash order. And on June 4th, I had another DoorDash order, $6.08. And that was it for this week. So far, I brought in $241.13. Not too bad. So with that, my income came up to $1,000.88 with $1,088.76. Sorry. All right, moving on to other expenses that I spent this week. So I had gas. I put gas. It came out to $15.20. If you guys don't have it, I recommend using Gas Buddy. I've been saving a lot using Gas Buddy, even if it's a few cents. I've been using the Gas Buddy card, which is attached to my regular bank account, and it discounts those cents off the gallon, and it definitely helps. So it came out to $15.20 on June 1st, and my expenses for June 1st. So here, as you can see, it says CA, so that was Cash App. I had some expenses that like I mentioned, that I helped my friend. So I spent $22 to help her, and then I had my Hulu payment. I got this promotion for a whole year. It was $3 for Disney and Hulu for the whole year, so it came out to $3.26. I did stop at Wendy's because when I was doing Amazon, I got hungry, so I used their app, and I got a burger and some nuggets. The nuggets were free through the app, so I only spent $2.38. And then that night, I ended up going to, right here you could see KS. KS stands for King Super, so I ended up going to King Supers, and I spent $24.13 in groceries there. And this other Maverick, I ended up getting a drink at Maverick, but I had points. That's the gas station, and with those points, I ended up spending 43 cents. So not bad. That total comes out to $52.20 that I spent that day, which is kind of bad because I did Amazon that day, so it kind of lost, like a lot of the profits, but oh well, it still worked out since it didn't come out of my paycheck. It came out of the money that I made through Amazon, so really helped. And on the second, right here you can see I have the RH haircut and the chiropractor. So RH is Robinhood. So from what I've been seeing, a lot of videos saying that you shouldn't stop investing and saving while you're paying off debt, because then later, once you pay off debt, it's going to be harder for you to get into that. And there's other videos that I've seen to not invest at all until you get out of debt. But I wanted to start and try to start building that up so it's compounding while I'm paying off debt. So that way, once my debt is paid off, I can use that extra money that was going to the debt towards investing. So that I'm doing small amounts. So that day I did $48.65, and then I got a haircut since my birthday was on the 3rd. I wanted to look nice, so spent $50 for my haircut. Pretty expensive here in Colorado. And then I went to a chiropractor. So I've been having back issues, but I found a chiropractor that was in network with my insurance. So that ended up coming out to $10 for the copay, which wasn't bad. The total for this day ended up being $108.65. So again, kind of high, but yeah, that was it for the second. And then for the third, on my actual birthday, I only spent $3, and that was again Robinhood. And yeah, total $3. And for this day here, the fourth was a more expensive day. I did a bunch of errands, and then I had an issue with my car, and then I went to the store, so I spent more money. So we have here Robinhood, so I spent $2 investing for Robinhood. I ended up having to get an oil change. I went to Brakes Plus. It was $81.41. And then I went to the ATM. I took out money because my car, I needed to change my spark plugs. And when I was there changing my spark plugs, turns out I also needed to change my light bulb. And then I had to get the coils for the ignition coils that goes on top of the spark plugs. So yeah, it ended up being an expensive day. So I already had $40, so I took out $130 since the mechanic charged me $170 to replace the spark plugs, the coils, and my light bulbs. So I found a mechanic that one of my friends recommended me. So he was pretty affordable, cheaper than if I would have done it at Brakes Plus or anywhere else. And then this Uber, I don't take Ubers, but I did order Uber for a friend. They're gonna pay me back, so I should be getting that money. I should be getting that money tomorrow. That was $22.73. And then this is for O'Reilly's. That's where I bought the parts. So I ended up spending $199.13 for the light bulbs, the 4 spark plugs, and 2 ignition coils. So it wasn't too bad. And then I went again to the chiropractor since they have me going 2 times a week until I'm better, and then I guess I'll start going less frequent, once a week, until I don't need to go anymore. And then here, this HD, that's Home Depot. So I saw that Brakes Plus, when they did the maintenance and everything, they told me that I needed a cabin air filter, and so I saw on YouTube how to install it yourself. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to install it myself and I'll save that money. And so I purchased that air filter, $15.42. The bad thing here is that when I went to the Home Depot website, Home Depot said that it was perfect for my vehicle, that it was going to fit. And I just tried to install it today and it did not fit. So I'm going to have to return that. Hopefully they accept returns. And then this WM, that's Walmart. So I made a purchase there at Walmart. I ended up getting some rotisserie chicken because I didn't feel like cooking. But I that's the most affordable option, especially since it's just me alone. I can make a few meals with that. And so I did use that rotisserie chicken, and I did like meal preps. So I ate that day, and then I did meal preps for the next 3 days so I could take to work, which definitely saved me some money. So I spent $467.14 that day. Very expensive day. There goes my profits from doing Amazon. But, oh well, that's life. And then we have on the 5th, I did invested again in Robinhood, $8. And then I ended up getting another Uber for my friend, $18.75. And then I ordered groceries through Klarna, $12.30. So I decided to use Klarna to buy the groceries, just because I made a lot. Had a high expense on the 4th, so I spent a lot of money on the 4th, and so I didn't want to be without money in case something else happened. But like I mentioned earlier, I paid a bunch of firm loans and everything. So going on forward, especially next month, I'm just going to be paying all the groceries in full. I'm not going to be using Klarna or Affirm or any of that. And so for this day on the 5th, I spent $39.05. Not too bad. And then we have the 6th. So the 6th, I did good. No spending on the 6th. On the 7th, I had to put gas, so I ended up spending $30.26. I put gas at Costco, so not too bad. I filled up the tank, and then I just kidding. I did spend on the 6th. I forgot. So on the 6th, I borrowed again my friend $15 in Cash App, and then I invested in Robinhood $9, and then here Boost. That's my Boost phone bill. This is for my line, and my nephew's line ended up coming to $34.48. Not bad. So, and their service is really cheap. I still have another provider because I'm in a payment plan with my other provider, but hopefully once my device is paid off, I can switch to Boost because it definitely is way cheaper. All right, so for that day, as you can see, I spent $58.48, and then for the 7th is when I didn't spend any money. So yeah, the 7th I didn't spend any money, only on gas, $30.26. And then on the 8th, which was yesterday, I had a friend that was with me. My friend's daughter. So she ended up coming with me, and she was hungry. So I stopped at McDonald's. I used my free reward, but I also got her something to eat. So I spent $6.70 last night. And then today, I had more expenses. So in Robinhood, it's this $48.15. As you can see, it's a little high, but that's because I set it so I can do more on Fridays investing. So I'm at $48.15 invested in Robinhood. And Dynamic Hair, that's my chiropractor, another $10. So for today, I spent $58.15. Not too bad. So with that, I'm at a balance of $265.13. So as you can see, since I haven't got my paycheck from my main job, my balance is a little low. And I'm still using these apps, so we're going to move on here to this section. I'm still borrowing from Earning, Dave, Money App, Grant, Credit Genie, Clio, Moneyline, and Empower. It's a cycle with these payday loans. Once you get them, it's hard to pay them off because you need them for your bills. You're constantly paying them back when you get paid and then having to borrow back because you don't have any money. So it's horrible. That's why I created this budget so I can spend less and hopefully pay one off at a time. And so far I have, as you can see, I had 4 others. It's embarrassing, but I mean, life happens. So I had 4 others which I've already paid off. And the next one that I'm looking to pay off is Grant because I organized them in the higher interest. Well, none of them charge interest, but they do charge a monthly fee. So with that monthly fee, it's kind of like APR. That's how I wrote it down, and I put it down here like the percentages that it is with those fees. So like Grant 120%, Dave 67%, Empower 48%, Clio 14.38%. So pretty high. So I put these in the order because this is the order that I want to pay them off. So Grant, that one I'm paying off this month. And I don't think I'm going to do Dave next month because I think I owe them $500, and that's kind of a lot. So I'll probably do Empower because I owe Empower less, and then probably Clio, and then Dave, and then these others down here. These are the least of my worries because they don't charge monthly fees and no interest. So those are going to be last to pay these off. So far with these apps, I borrowed $900 from Earning. Yeah, that's a lot of money. So I borrowed $900 from them. I wish to pay them back, but yeah, I'm just doing one at a time for now. So and then so I borrowed the $900, but then I had to pay back Dave $1. That's their monthly fee. And then I had to pay back Credit Genie $150. That's what they had borrowed me. And then I borrowed again from them because, like I mentioned, this is a never-ending cycle. Once you borrow from them, you have to keep borrowing from them. So I borrowed $150. And yeah, that's it for these. for these. So with that, it brings my balance to $1,164.13. So it looks like I still have money. So it kind of is like, well, why are you borrowing from these if you still have money? But I still have other expenses. So let's go ahead and show you those other expenses of my debt. So the debt that I mentioned, that I had $38,000 of debt, over $38,000. So I'll go ahead and show you what I paid so far. So for this week, I made a payment of $29.02 to my Wells Fargo credit card, and I'm so excited. On the 4th, I did a balance transfer. Well, I did do a balance transfer, but I got a limit increase on my Navy Federal, which was exciting because my credit on that card went from $500 to $1,500, and the interest is only 18% on my Navy Federal card, whereas my Wells Fargo credit card is 29.99%. So I did a balance transfer of $1,400 and I believe $12 of this Wells Fargo balance to my Navy Federal, so I can pay less in interest and hopefully pay it off quicker. So I'm excited for that. It hasn't transferred yet, so that's why you still see that balance here, and that's why you still see Navy Federal at zero, because Navy Federal is technically paid off until the balance transfer goes through, which it says it could take about 10 business days. So we'll see. We'll see if it goes through before the next before I do the next video next week, talking about the second week of June. So then we have Westlake. So Westlake, this is my new vehicle. Well, it's used, but it's newer. And that one I made a payment of $265.28, which was the minimum. And as you can see here, that reduced my balance from $4,116.04 to $3,876 and $3,876.13. So here is if you haven't seen the first video, this is my starting debt. So this is what I start at the beginning of the month, and this is how I end up at the end of the month or after I make a payment. And then over here to your right, that is the interest that I paid because of that. So yeah, I ended up paying $25.37 of interest. So that is the reason why I want to pay these off as soon as possible, because I feel like I'm just throwing money away. Oh, I didn't mention up here this Capital One. So this is the card that I used to pay my rent, and so I ended up making a payment of $200 towards it, as you saw from the other section, and it went from $1,744.76 down to $1,544.76. So I'm paying that shortly, since that payment isn't due until the 1st. So, but it's definitely helped me with that cash back. So we'll go ahead and move on. The next payment that I made was Ally Financial. This is the vehicle that got totaled because the person ran a red light and she crashed into me, totaled my car, and Gap didn't want to cover the remaining balance, so I was stuck with the remaining balance, which was $4,000 something. And I'm happy though. I'm down to $1,000 something. A lot of people told me, just stop paying it. What are they going to do? Come for the vehicle? You don't even have it anymore. Yeah, that's true. I don't have it, but since I do want a better vehicle in the future, I didn't want my credit messed up worse than it already is because of all these debts. So I'm almost done with it. The balance went from $1,389.30 down to $1,029.08 with that payment of $373.57. The interest this month came out to $14.15. So not too bad. Each payment, the interest is going down, which is nice to see. So moving on, I also ended up paying off the Navy Federal card, $97.54. So that is paid off, which is why we have a zero balance. it started the month with a balance, but I also what happened is that it didn't update. It didn't update the end of May, which is why it shows it already started with a zero balance. And when it updated a few days ago, I made that payment, and now it's at a zero balance. So a little confusing, but yeah, that's a zero balance, and that's why it shows negative $97.54 because it thinks I didn't make a payment, but yeah, that's zero interest. I didn't pay interest on that card, and then yeah. So moving on, that was it for the debt. So with that, with the rent that I added here, my current debt amount is $39,017, but I still have a few more payments. So I'm going to pay off the rent with the Capital One card. I'm going to pay off, I still need to make this end payment. I still need to pay the IRS on the 16th, $79, and that's it for my debt. And that brings me to a balance of $318.72. So you see why I had to borrow those $900. And yeah, so yeah, that's it. And yeah, there's $80. So sorry. That brings it to $398.72. That's what I currently have today, as of today. So next week, when I get paid, it might be less because I did use a PTO, and so whenever you use PTO, I feel like I get more taxes. It's weird. So my check might be a little less. And I also increased my 401k percentage because I want to receive the max employer contribution match from my job, because that's free extra money that that I would be receiving. Even though I have these debts, that's what I've been seeing is that you don't want to lose the employer match because that's free money. So I increased my contribution to hopefully receive the max employer match this year. So yeah, in a few days I'll be receiving, on the 11th I'll be receiving the paycheck. So I'll go ahead and make the changes to this amount once I get paid, and I'll also and that's it. Oh, and from my friend for those Ubers, I'll also be getting paid for that. So I'll add that to the section right here for income. And here, as you can see, it has the Amazon Flex amounts that I made, and it has the DoorDash, which is really nice, the way that I set up this spreadsheet. So yeah, I'll do the next video probably Sunday or Monday next week, and we'll go over the second week of June. Let me know if you guys have any questions, comments, feedback. Yeah, I would really appreciate it. Thank you for the new subscribers. Thank you all for watching. Please be sure to like and comment on my videos, and that way I can keep getting motivated to keep making more. Thank you all.